Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to go over a whole bunch of drugstore makeup that has come out recently in the last 2 months or so. I've been buying it up, trying it out, and I figured we would talk about it. So I have some of the new CoverGirl stuff. I have some new stuff from Revlon. I have a new palette from Rimmel. And yeah, we're just gonna dive right on in. So real quick before we get started, in case you're curious, on my lips right now I have the Urban Decay Kristen Leanne lipstick in Bun Bun mixed with the Sheer Liar lipstick. So that's what's on my lips right now. I thought it was appropriate considering this deep dark mauve-y eye color. I look that I did. So before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I do not have everything from these collections. I try to be very aware of my waist and what I'm buying versus what I'm using. So I don't buy full collections because I know that most of it's not going to work for me. You know, being so fair, I can't justify buying 2 different face palettes when one is meant for dark skin tones because I know I'll never use it besides swatches. And I don't want to be that person. So I don't do it. So I have the stuff that works for me, that intrigued me, but I don't have the full collection. So let's get started. So I think I want to start with the CoverGirl collection. So you might have seen, you probably have seen, they have been coming out with a lot of different stuff. They've been totally rebranding and they came out with some new collections. So they came out with 2 different scented collections. They came out with the peach collection and the chocolate collection. So for each scent, they came out with one face palette, one eyeshadow palette, and then a couple single face options. So I picked up the face palette. It was pretty much the only thing that intrigued me from the peach collection. I didn't pick up anything from the chocolate collection. So this I love. This is the Peach Punch highlighter palette. It's in number 100. So you've got a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter here. I love this. I do. The bronzer is a great shade if you are fair, honestly fair. I don't think if you're even light skin tone it's going to do much for you, but if you're fair, this is a fantastic bronzer shade. I'm wearing it right now and I just love how natural it looks on my skin tone. It's one of those powders that it's not powdery. So it's not uber pigmented. I hate when I dip my bronzer brush into a bronzer and it comes up with so much pigment that I'm like, great, I can cover my entire face with this and still look like an Oompa Loompa, you know? This is not like that. It's a very hardly pressed. It seems like they pressed it a little bit harder so it doesn't have as much kick up and dust to it, and not a lot of pigment comes off in your brush, which is a good thing in my opinion. Being so fair, I like to not have to be super careful with my bronzer, you know? And this does that for me. I love this color. It's fantastic. The blush is another that I love. It's got a little bit of purple glitter throughout it. It's very weird, but that really doesn't translate to the cheeks whatsoever. You get a little bit of shine, but really just not that much. It's really more of a matte blush, and I love it. It's so, so beautiful. This is a little bit more pigmented than the bronzer, but still, it's so easy to blend out. It just, fantastic blush. Now, the highlighter, I like. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. It's got a really interesting peach undertone, which we really don't see a lot with highlighters, in my opinion, especially with the drugstore, but it's got a really intense peach undertone with a gold sheen throughout it. It's really beautiful. It's very blinding. I mean, look at that. That's intense. So like I said, it does have glitter in it. So if you're not into glitter highlighters, you probably won't like this one quite as much. I mean, I still love it. I love a good glitter moment, right on the tops of the cheekbone, especially when I'm going out at night. Love that. Not necessarily for day to day. For day to day, I prefer more of a just pigment, light reflecting type of highlighter, but I do really like this highlighter for nighttime when I want a little bit more pow on the top of my cheekbones. Love it. Fantastic. But all in all, this palette is beautiful, and I'm so freaking happy that I have it. The chocolate version of the face palette is meant for darker skin tones, so that's why I didn't pick that one up, because I looked at it and I knew it wasn't gonna work for me. The bronzer was like way too dark and pretty much everything was too dark. So I skipped out on it, but the formula is really, really nice. So if you do have darker skin tones, the chocolate one, you'll probably really enjoy. So really enjoy this. I also love their packaging. It's so freaking cute. It's got like little peaches all over it. It's adorable and it stands out in your drawer, which I really, really appreciate, especially with my growing collection. I wanted to mention that they do have a couple single peach blushes in this like peach line, but they're very, very similar to this one, so I decided not to pick those up because in the pan they just looked almost exactly like this peach blush here in the palette. But if you're not interested in like the bronzer or the highlighter, you might pick up the single blush because they really are beautiful and they just look so nice on the skin. I love this formula. So the peach eyeshadow palette I did not pick up. I couldn't justify buying another peach toned eyeshadow palette. Couldn't. I didn't pick up the chocolate eyeshadow palette either because it basically just looked like a bunch of browns and it looked very boring and I don't need more boring basic palettes. I did pick up one eyeshadow palette though, which came out, so they came out with the peach one and the chocolate one. They came out with a really colorful one, which I'm still debating if I want it or not. I'm not sure. We'll see if I end up picking that one up. But I did pick up this one, which is the Sunset palette. And honestly, I don't love it. You know, it's funny. Usually when I talk about an eyeshadow palette, my number one complaint is that there's not enough dark shades to like smoke out the outer corner, especially with the Drugstore. They tend to slack on like the darker shades. But my complaint with this one is that there's not enough mid-tone shades. You have 1, 2, 3 different shades that you could use to smoke out your like outer corner, but there's no mid-tone taupe or brown or anything in here to use in your crease, which just, it sucks. Honestly, the closest you're gonna get is this last shade here, which still has quite a bit of depth to it. There it is right there. Like, that's a dark shade to be putting in your crease. I can't do it. Being so fair, I would look crazy. So I really just didn't love this palette. Now, I will say the formula is, it's okay. It's very, very soft and very powdery, and I mean, it makes it so that they're easy to blend, but I just don't think that it's mind-blowing enough. I don't think you need this palette in any way, shape, or form. These colors are not new, they're not interesting, they're just basic. Now, if you're starting out, you may enjoy this one. They are really easy to blend, really nice, but I just found that having so many dark shades and nothing to contrast with it, most looks look the exact same every time I tried to use this palette. The other thing that I got from CoverGirl is the True Blend Super Stunner palette. So this is a highlighting palette and I love this. Oh my god, this is amazing. So you have 3 different shades here. This is, I think they had a darker one in this as well, which obviously I didn't pick up, like I said. So you have 3 different shades here. You have this like super yellow shade, this more like champagne-y golden shade, and then a pinky champagne-y shade. So there's the swatches right there. I didn't do a great job swatching those, I'm sorry. But I love this. They are so freaking soft and buttery and easy to blend, and they just lay on the skin so amazingly. Right now I'm wearing the first one here, the yellow one, and this one is fantastic because it's not glittery at all. There's not one speck of glitter in this freaking highlighter. It is all light reflecting pigment, and I love it. It just gives you the most naturally intense highlight that I can't get over. I really can't. The other two do have a little bit of glitter in them, but not so much. It almost gets like more glittery as you go down. This reminds me, I would say this is like a drugstore version of the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt dual highlighters, where like one side's the like natural just pigment and the other side's very like glittery and sparkly and intense. This is like a drugstore version of that, and I love it just the same because you really can kind of customize how intense and glittery you want it to be. I love this palette. I really do. If you pick up anything from this collection, I would say pick up this highlighter palette. Now, obviously, We don't need more highlighters. I certainly don't need more highlighters, but I'm really happy I have this because it is fantastic, and I love having 3 different options, and all 3 of these work for my skin tone, which I love. Highlighter palettes never come out in shade ranges where I can use all of them, and I'm really happy that they did that with this one, where they came out with like the light one and then a darker one, because I can actually use all 3 of these and none of them look crazy on my skin. I freaking love it. Now, they did come out with a concealer, which I have not picked up. I feel like I'm not gonna like it. Like, I get a feeling from it. I'm like, I don't need you. I'm not gonna like you very much. I did want to mention, because it is part of like their new collection, the True Blend Matte Made Foundation. I'm not gonna harp on it. I love this. If you've seen any of my videos from the past 2 months, you probably already know that, because I'm obsessed with it and I can't stop talking about it. It's just so good, but I wanted to mention it because it is part of the new collection. Great foundation. So, moving on, I have the new Rimmel Magnifies Crimson Edition eyeshadow palette, which is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. So I picked this up because I loved the Spice Edition that I reviewed a few weeks ago, a month ago maybe. It's the dupe for the Urban Decay Heat palette. Is that what it's called? I don't even know anymore. I love the Rimmel palette, which that dupe video is coming. I swear it is. I'm working on it. But I picked this one up because I love that other Rimmel palette so much, and I'm so happy I did. They have a few others in this line. I think there's like an all purple one, which I am eyeing so hard. There's a really colorful one, which I'm interested in, but I don't think I need it because I did just buy the Huda Beauty one. And then there's a couple like neutral palettes, which are really pretty, but I don't need. But anyways, I picked up this one. This is the Crimson Edition, and I love it. Now, the one thing to know about these palettes is that the shades usually come off a little bit different on the eyes than in the pan. Like this 3rd shade here, I went in on my crease with, and I thought it was just going to be a really like cool tone, pinky, taupey color, and it came off just a touch more like a bright pink. So just be aware that some of the shades aren't fully true to what they actually come off on the skin, but they're beautiful and they blend so easily. It's funny, I put this shade in my crease, and then I took this shade down here and put that in the outer corner, and it was really pigmented and like really bold, and I was like, you know, I'm not really in the mood for that bold of a look today. So I took my just like basic blending brush. This is from Skone, I don't know how to say it, just any blending brush really, and I just sat there. I wasn't even paying attention. I was watching Kathy Light's newest video, and I was just blending away, just doing random windshield wiper motions. And I looked up like a minute later, and my eyeshadow was just like this perfect, beautiful wash of color. Like, it was just perfectly softened and blended. I freaking love this formula. It's one of my new favorite formulas, and I think everyone needs to try them. And they have so many different options for everybody. You're definitely gonna find ones you love. I'm so happy. Okay, let's finish this up with a couple Revlon things. So they came out with this new collection. I think it's called Shoot the Moon, or Shoot for the Moon, or something moon, and I don't know. It literally just popped up out of nowhere at Walgreens. So I picked up, they have a couple different palettes. They have a couple like lip products, couple liquid highlighters, and maybe eyeliners or something. I just picked up one of the face palettes and one of the liquid highlighters. So this is what it looks like. It's really cute. It's got this like navy blue packaging with like gold stars and moons all over it. It's tiny. Like, tiny. Let me just show you real quick. That is the difference between the Revlon and the CoverGirl palette. It's literally like one of the CoverGirl highlighters. Like, that's how much is like left off. It's insane. So this palette has 2 blushes and a highlighter in it. Now this is the lighter of the two palettes. Let that sink in for a minute, because this blush is one of the darkest, like, mulberry type of blush shades I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I would use that as an eyeshadow for sure. It's gorgeous. But as a blush, there's literally no way in hell I could make that work on my skin. I don't understand. And this is the lighter of the two palettes. So you go from that to a baby pink blush to a white highlighter. The shade selection in here is so odd. I don't understand. There's it swatched next to the second blush. Look at that difference. Who decided this, Revlon? Like, y'all are so confusing. I don't even know what to say about you. And then up here is the highlighter. I don't even know if you can see it. Now, I really like the highlighter. It's beautiful. It's like this white with this really cool, like, purpley pink shift to it. It's gorgeous, and it doesn't have glitter in it, so it's just a really nice, like, natural wash, but kind of intense on your face. It's gorgeous. The pink blush I really like. It does have glitter in it. It's got like a pinky gold type of glitter in it. It's really nice though. I don't mind a shimmery blush at times, especially during the winter. I don't mind it. But that freaking mulberry blush, what is that? Who decided this, Revlon? Who decided that these three colors go together? I don't understand. Not to mention, this little tiny palette was like $15. The CoverGirl palettes are $11. Can someone please explain to me what Revlon is smoking? Because I would like to get on the party. If it's that good, if y'all think that this is worth $15, being so tiny and being so, just such odd colors. I don't understand. This is a no. Absolutely not. And then for the, by the way, the face palette is 001 Sunset on Pluto. That's what it's called. Now, the liquid highlighter. Actually, it's not even a liquid. This is the Moon Glow Jelly highlighter, basically. It's like a knockoff version of, what's that jelly highlighter? The Farsali Jelly Illuminator thing. It's like a knockoff of that. This is the worst thing I have tried in such a long time. This is awful. First of all, it feels disgusting. It's like, I have nothing to compare it to. It just feels so gross. Like, it's got like a layer of wetness to it, but you put your finger in there and you try and get something off, and it's literally just glitter. Like, you put this on your cheek and it looks like something you picked up from Claire's. There is no pigment to this whatsoever. Even though it looks like it has a really beautiful, like, champagne pigment to it, it doesn't. It just has, it's like wet glitter is all it is. There's the swatch of it right there. It's literally just wet glitter, and you try and blend it into your skin, and the wetness goes away, like the jelly part of it goes away, and you're just left with a stripe of glitter sitting on your skin. It is the weirdest thing I've ever tried, and I hate it. I legitimately hate it. It's, no. Not to mention, this thing was like $12, $13. Like, these prices are insane. This packaging is so freaking cheap and plasticky. I don't get it. By the way, I got mine in the shade 001 Moon Glow. Awful. Awful. I would not recommend either of these two Revlon products. They can both go in the trash for all I care, because they're just, no. I don't understand. Revlon, please get your shit together, because this is not, like, Revlon going up against CoverGirl with these products is laughable. Legitimately laughable. Like, there's no comparing the amazing quality of the CoverGirl stuff versus this. Even the Rimmel eyeshadow palette, like, this is amazing, and it's just, no. So, there you go. There's my take on a whole bunch of new drugstore stuff. I hope you guys liked today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know down below if there's anything else from the drugstore that I need to be trying out. Even anything not from the drugstore. Anything y'all want reviews on, let me know down below. I will pick it up, I will review it, and give you my honest truth about it. Obviously, I have no problem doing that. So, I hope you guys liked today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!